Yay, Mrs. Jones, Mrs. Jones. What is going on? Happy Taco Tuesday to a queen.
Taco Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday. Every day there's something to celebrate. It's also like it's National Day of Encouragement. It's National Video Gamer Day. It's always some reason to celebrate. I call it myself personally. There's always a reason to take a shot or a smoke break or just kick it or hang out, call somebody. It's National Day of Encouragement. And if not any of those, Taco Tuesday.
Amen, brother.
Yes. Yes. How was your day been?
It's been good. I spent a whole bunch of money on my dog. You want to see my dog? I've got to show you my dog.
Sure.
Look at this little
Oh
munchkin.
wow. Oh wow. What's
Tell
his
me that's not the
name?
cutest little thing you've ever seen.
Yes. What is his name? Or is it a
Milo,
girl?
the boy.
Milo?
Yeah.
Milo. I like that name, Milo.
Yeah, he's a good boy. He's just a little weird.
Okay. Well, cool beans, queens. 1,000 thank yous for joining me for allowing me to interview you. I know we met on Clubhouse a couple of maybe a month or two ago, and we met up in that room called Sunflowers and Kitchen Sinks. I loved what you spoke about, and I said I have got to get her on my podcast, let her meet my audience, allow my audience to meet her, and just be one of your platforms because I love what you spoke about.
Who knows what I was talking about? I don't remember. I was babbling
Yeah,
away about something.
you have a coaching business and you specialize in coaching men. I want you to tell us about that.
So yeah, I have a coaching business specializing in men's emotional health. And the reason why I decided to specialize on men was because of this great amount of suffering that I saw my father go through when he got separated and then divorced and
Oh wow.
completely excommunicated from the family.
Oh wow.
And as a result, just the quality of life was very poor. And I think that has motivated me a lot
Hmm.
because I realized as a child, looking back, I realized that as a child, I needed my father
Mm.
and he just wasn't there. I had a stepfather, but it wasn't the same thing. And
I can only imagine.
so fathers have a special role in their child's life, and it's non-negotiable. They've
Hmm.
got to be there, otherwise the child suffers.
I definitely believe that with you.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and it's not just about finances, it's about, being there present and teaching the child and, being somebody that they can count on and being somebody that they can look up to, and it's very important.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that end. I got 4 kids myself, and once I got diagnosed with my illness, primary progressive multiple sclerosis, I've gone from when I was diagnosed in 2016, I was a teacher of the year. I had become a realtor, and I was my son's football coach. And it is now 2023, so it's what 7 years later, and I am all the way 100% physically handicapped. I can't I can't crawl. I cannot take more than a step. I really can't even stand up by myself. It's going to be a bunch of falling, and I've had to reinvent myself as a father, as a husband. I can't go back into teaching because of all my disabilities and everything. And that's one of the reasons I started doing the gratitude journal and how I noticed the difference between being grateful and showing gratitude. And it all started with I had to reinvent myself to still be some kind of father, some kind of husband figure to those around me. And I've gone from being the father who who maybe was overbearing. I was going being from overbearing father, always in my kids' faces. I was loud, I was boisterous, I was a man, I was a man. And then in the wheelchair, I've learned to communicate a whole lot better. I've learned my kids and my wife's love language. I use those appropriately throughout the day. I change those up. I switch those things all around. I had to do it just today. So I'm saying all that to say I definitely agree with you that fathers have to be there. We do have a special place in these kids' lives. No matter how you see it, how you do it, you do have a special place in your kids' life, and it's up to you to find how to benefit them, how to be that teacher for them.
I agree. I thank you so much for sharing your story with me. Wow, that is just incredible, and I think it's absolutely commendable that you decided to to surrender yourself to the whole process.
1,000 thank yous. It's I've told people before, it's nothing that I'm very sure I would not have gone this route, become this guy, if it wasn't for the wheelchair. But as it is, because there are times I have to actually ask my daughters to help me in and out the bathroom. And that stuff like that breaks your pride, absolutely shatters your pride. You've got it's up to me to pick up these pieces and still put myself back together and be who I need to be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that starting the day with a massive humble pie it's a good way to start the day.
Yeah, I like that. I like that tip. That's why I start my every day with the gratitude journal. I write a story of why I am grateful, not what I'm grateful for, not a list of what I'm grateful for, but stories of why I am grateful, why I'm so happy that maybe today I just got through calling. I got 4 kids. It took me until I called the third kid. I got 3 daughters, and I called the daughters, and when I went to the bathroom, I came out. Somebody had taken the clean sheets I've just washed and put them on the bed for me, made the bed
Yes.
all up, and put my notebook and everything else back on the bed. So when I come out, the bed is just made. I call up, I call up my youngest daughter because she's the one who's always doing stuff like that. And I give her the whole talk, and she at the end what bed did I make up? Oh my gosh, wrong one. So I call up another daughter. I give her the whole talk. Look, I'm so happy you made up the bed for me. Oh my gosh, I'm ready to cry. It was so awesome. Blah blah blah. She said, oh, "Daddy, I've been asleep. I didn't make up your bed. God, dog." So I called the third daughter, and before I even start, did you make up my bed? And she just busted laughing. Yeah, I made up your bed. I sure did. I sure did. And I give her a whole talk. It was just the bed, Dad. Calm down. No, you have no idea. You taking the time out to knock out and make up the bed for me. It was only 5 minutes for you, but that saved me a good 35, 45 minutes. Oh my gosh, huge help.
Yeah, yeah, that's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, I like stuff like that. I like stuff like that. As a parent, I like stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, like you've learned to be creative as a father. You've learned what it
Yep.
really means to be a human being, Kendrick.
Yes, I do. I do. I do actually agree with you. I'm not going to take any of those affirmations away. I do definitely believe that in my heart and my soul, I have learned to be a human being because of my situation.
Yeah. Now, I like that about you because there's no front, there's no pretending to be,
Nope.
somebody that you're not, or, you know. And to be a man, you have to be strong. You have to be
Yeah.
competent. You have to have a handle on everything. You have to, you know, be in charge, be in
Yep.
control.
That's definitely the way I always felt. That's definitely the way I always felt.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, you could. I hope you're writing books and teaching courses because
Thank you for those affirmations. 1,000 thank yous, Miss Jones. I have got to ask you. we met in that clubhouse room. Was there anything, what made you want to come on this particular, I mean, my podcast is Mindset of a Bullshit. I've spoken about my disabilities. Is there anything that just came, what made you want to be on this podcast?
Well, I love mindset over bullshit and the whole idea of disabilities because I have a hidden disability myself, or a hidden superpower. That's what
I
I
like
call
that
it.
word.
I
I like that.
I was diagnosed with bipolar back in 2018, and
Wow.
I wrote a book about it, an audio book, and now I'm writing the print version of Shirley World: How I Single-Handedly Stopped Climate Change.
I like that. I'm a super fan of that title. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so yeah, and I look back on my life and I think, that bipolar is actually a condition where you get split in two. And I got split in two the night that my parents put me on the spot and told me that I had to choose between one or the other of them.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I was 9 years old.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So it's interesting because, yeah, bipolar means two, right? So I look at it, like you're split, you're cut in half, and it happened to me a number of times when I was young. So
Hmm.
so what has happened is that it gives me my inner life, and I also have the ability to sense people's potential, and I have visions for their life. I can see a whole path of their life if they so choose to go down, like, and so that makes me completely and totally a nut job, in the eyes
Uh-huh.
of the medical community. But like, to me, I just try to keep my mouth shut and not say anything to the best of
Now
my
when you
ability.
say, I gotta ask you, now when you say you can that you can see their life, tell me what that is. So that means you can see what they're going to be, you can see things that they do, you can see what kind of person they are at the end. I feel like there are so many ways to take that.
Well, I had a 24-year-old young man here the other day, just a couple of days ago, and I told him, I said, I could see you when you're 70 years old, dandling your great grandchild on your knee. I can see you,
Hmm.
and having had a long happy marriage with somebody that I presented to you, that you met because you met me.
I like
And
that.
he almost started crying because he said, that's what I want. So he
I
wasn't
like that.
resisting me. He wasn't
I
resisting, he
like
wasn't
that.
fighting me. He was going
I
along
like
with it
that.
because that's what he wants. But he's living in a world where the women around him are completely and totally out of order, and have no clue how to behave. So it's hard for young people to figure out right now uh, a path that is healthy and wholesome for them to live.
Okay.
It's like being a given your life, but no map, no flashlight, no nothing, because there's no guidance to be had. But that's what I do. I offer my own form of guidance, and people can take it or leave it as they wish. But
Okay. And so this is I am I am still I am still stuck on this seeing the people's lives. Have you ever seen, so you told me about the person that you saw, he was 78, dangling his feet playing with his grandchild. Have you ever seen something bad or something negative happen to a person? When have you seen things, or is it always only the good things?
oh, well, that's an interesting question. I've seen people turn into scorpions,
Wow.
like slither off into the darkness and be really evil. It's
Wow.
a choice, right? People have different life paths depending on what they
Yep.
choose, and
Yep.
I actually fired one of my clients and got kicked out of a program that I was in, and that happened last month in August. It happened in August. I told the guy to F off because of the way he was talking to me. It was so disrespectful. And then I was told I was
You did not
unprofessional. But he
I
was
get that.
completely and totally out of line to talk to me in such a disrespectful and condescending and low vibration kind of attitude after all the work that I had put into him, you know?
I'm a big believer in that. I'm a big believer in setting those walls. I'm a big believer in slapping back. I'm a big believer in, just like you said, I'm a big believer to let somebody fuck off. Oh my God, you bullshitting. Fuck you. You are bullshitting. So I absolutely agree with what
Because
you
he
have.
was so attached. He was so attached to the fact that he was this lower version of himself. And I did every single thing humanly possible to show him his potential, to show him how he could transform, to show him what he needed to do in order to build the relational character muscles that you need to work. Kendrick, your body may not be working, but your soul is illuminated.
You got that right. I
That's right.
accept that affirmation. I
And
received that.
that's all
I
that
received that.
matters. That's all that matters, my son. That's all that matters. Ultimately, it's what we have made of our soul that matters. Nothing else matters. And this guy was not buying that. So it was like, I told him to fuck off.
Now you so your father is going so your father is dealing with so your father and your mother are going through the divorce. Your parents have you choosing between the two of them. Is that when you noticed, is that when this ability to see people's lives came to you, or was it later on in life?
Yeah, well, that's interesting. I had I think I'm like have this super consciousness,
Hmm.
and and um and it was always there from the get-go because I just suffered so much as an infant, and as a baby and throughout my lifetime. Like I just experienced excruciating different forms of abuse, and because of that, instead of becoming contaminated with hatred and resentment and all that, I just have a heart that just loves. I'm just such a
I dig it. I
I
like
just
that.
have a huge heart and an understanding and a compassion for people. Like I can understand all sides of the story. People can present a case to me, and I can feel into each one of their energy field, and I can feel where they're coming from, and then I will say, well, if you want to resolve this problem, because ultimately to me, my zone of genius is about family unity,
Hmm.
personal unity and family unity. um, is how are we gonna sit down and be one together, and in order for that to happen, you're gonna have to eat this much humble pie, develop these certain qualities, uh, start expressing yourself, resolve this certain trauma. I just can create a recipe for success for that individual and their family.
Yep. I can only imagine the I can only imagine the perspectives and the empathy you can offer your client with everything that you have told me about already, with your father, with the bipolar. I can only imagine the empathy and the different kinds of perspectives that you can offer your clients.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's good because, the bipolar is in a container. I take medications for it, and I regulate it by making sure that I take enough medications so that I can function and be logical and get things done, be an executive,
Yep.
But if I ever decide to take less medication, if I lower it at any, then I just get this flood of creativity. But I've got enough creations now to last my lifetime and then some. So I'm just gonna work it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. 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 I totally get that.
Run.
So, whenever you are relaxing, are you more of a reader? Do you prefer to watch stuff on TV? Are you listening to things, music person? How are you relaxing?
I love to listen to music and write. And I do read. And I've been reading Joan Rivers's memoir.
I bet that's good. I bet that is
It
entertaining.
is. She's amazing. She's amazing. I mean, she wore her body right out. It just gave out because she pushed herself so hard to to perform, right? She was always
Mhm.
on.
Is there any particular story that you've heard in this in reading the Joan that reading about Joan Rivers that you feel like you want to share with us? Is there anything that you can say, know what, this one part?
Well, one of the things that she said was that it reached a point, uh, the reason why comedians and actors and actresses are so scrupulous about their contracts is because they have been screwed over so many times that everything,
I can
every
only
little
imagine.
smallest little detail has to be written down because they'll they'll get they'll get so badly treated, and she was
Yeah,
not to put up with any more bad treatment. That was really the bottom line for her. The more successful she was, the more demanding she was, and the more she got. Oh, I thought that was really interesting. Yeah.
nice. I'm I I what I was a big time reader, but I am now legally blind, so that messes up my reading. Instead, I'm always listening to audiobooks. And I tell you that because when I was reading, I used to always tell my wife, hey, my wife been listening to audiobooks for the longest. I used to always tell her, hey, you're cheating because you're doing everything else, and the audiobook is just playing in your ear. How are you really reading a book, listening to it? And now a couple of years into it, oh man, if you get the right audiobook with the right person reading it, oh man, wow, what an
They're great.
experience.
They're great.
Yeah, what an experience. Although I cannot lie, it is awesome to have a good audiobook in, and maybe you are making up the bed, doing some chores around the house. That is pretty awesome too, because whenever you read the book, you have to just sit there and read. There's no other stuff you can get done. But yeah, I will have an audiobook playing whenever I'm getting dressed, brushing my teeth. I've gotten to the point now I will not, well, not right now, but whenever I'm into an audiobook, I can't go to sleep until I find out exactly what chapter I was the night before. So I'm gonna have to play it back an hour or so because golly, I let it go so long before I don't remember any of this. But yeah, if it's that good, I have to go back and find where I was exactly to let it start playing from right there.
Oh, good. Yeah, I love audiobooks too. They are
A
awesome.
good audiobook is awesome. You said that you have done the audiobook, or is that the book that you're working on right now?
Well, I did 4 chapters of Shirley World,
Yep.
and then I also did the written version of Shirley World, but it's completely different than the audio.
Okay.
It's quite
I
different
put
from.
out I have my first book that I wrote is called If you can't get better, be better. And I turned that into an audiobook, but I read it myself. So I am reading my own stuff to make it into an audiobook.
Well, that's awesome. That's the best way.
A thousand thank yous. A thousand thank yous. It's definitely you got to start somewhere. You got to start somewhere, and that is definitely where I started. How do you promote your coaching services to others? Do you just find people face to face? Are you actually reaching out by email? How are you making your connections?
Well, I'm just getting my feet underneath me for that actually. So I promote things on Instagram, on I have a Facebook group, but I'm not
What is
much
your
of a
Instagram?
promoter.
Okay, I gotta stop. What is your Instagram? Say it. Tell us all what your Instagram is.
At Shirley Jones 999.
At Shirley Jones 999. So if you are looking for this coaching with this emotional, with this, the term that you taught me was emotional laundry.
Yeah.
Got
Somebody
it.
your emotional laundry.
Shirley, at Shirley Jones 99. Two nines,
3 9s.
three nine. At Shirley Jones 999. I like that. Where did three nines come from?
I don't know. I just like nines.
Okay,
They're
okay,
very,
okay,
they're perfect numbers.
okay. Well, on this podcast, I'm really big into gratitude. So I'm always, like I said earlier, I'm always telling people that the difference between being grateful, showing gratitude is being grateful is making a list of what you have. I'm grateful because I have a house. I'm grateful because I have a job. I'm grateful because I have kids. Showing gratitude is when you actually write out that story or tell that story of why you are grateful. Tell us all the story of why Shirley Jones is grateful today.
Why am I grateful today? Well, I'm grateful because I was able to turn my life around from, what was really a lot of suffering and pain and anguish and resentment and just discomfort in general, to one where I can say, that I feel blessed, and uh, I feel, honestly believe, Kendrick, that I can be of service in the world. And I think that that's truly the way to happiness in the world, to
Yes.
personal happiness. That's what I'm grateful for, is that I have that traction to actually be able to express myself, in such a way that it makes people more conscious, more aware,
Mhm.
more in tune with themselves, more in contact with their inner being, more recognize that they have a soul, so I
I
have,
dig it.
yeah, I'm very grateful to be so creative. It's really an amazing thing. I'm actually looking for participants right now to do a speeded up version of a 12-session course called the Black Stallions
Mhm.
Coaching Program.
How do participants tell you that they want to do this? I want to promote this for you.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, I mean, they can just inbox me on Instagram. That would be good.
Okay. At Shirley Jones 999 and just inbox you and they can and then tell us what they're doing again in an accelerated part of your program.
Yeah, I'm looking for I need to have social proof, that my program works. So I'm looking for the first cohort of participants that would
Okay.
go through an accelerated program. Could just be like even a 1 day, 8 hours,
Okay.
where they do the version fast, and it's going to be amazing because it's going to be about going from emotional mess to emotionally mastery.
Okay. Okay. If there's anything specifically that you want me to mention, inbox, email that to me, and I'm going to add that to this podcast description when I put in the pieces of what we're talking about. That way, people that listen to it can also read it, understand maybe, because maybe I'm not explaining it properly. So I will definitely put that in so people will know exactly where to go, come to reach out to, and connect with you about that.
Well, why don't you give them my email address? Which
Give it to us.
shirleyguidance9@gmail.com.
ShirleyGuidance9@gmail.com.
Yeah, the number 9.
Got it. Of course, because you've already said you like the number 9.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. ShirleyGuidance9@gmail.com. And then they can reach you on Instagram at Shirley Jones 999.
Yeah, they can just reach me out there and just tell me that they're interested in my my upcoming coaching program. I'm creating a workbook for it. And it's going to be really good. It's going to be really good. It's not like anything anybody's ever seen before. It's not the same old,
Okay.
same old, you know?
Okay. Okay. I definitely want to help share this. So this will be all over the podcast description. Well, Ms. Jones, 1,000 thank yous for joining me for today's interview. I want to make sure I get this out to everyone in my audience because I want to share what you are doing. The stuff you're talking about is so interesting. I'm going to end up asking you to come back. I'm going to end up asking you to come back. But until then, Ms. Jones, thank you so much for joining us on Mindset Over Bullshit. I want you to be grateful, stay pretty, and remember to write in your gratitude journal. I am out.
Thank you, Kendrick.
No problem at all, Ms. Jones.